All right, so in this video lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time reviewing equations. All right, so these equations you should have learned how to solve in Math 10. All right, so but just going to spend this first video just kind of going over how to solve equations. All right, so when we're solving equations, basically what we want to do here is we want to isolate the variable. Okay, so isolate the variable. So the variable is the letter. Okay, so in this case, the variable here is n. Okay, so n, usually, traditionally, they use the letter x, but again, it can be any letter itself. Right, so that's a variable. What we want to do is we eventually want to get down to like n equals, and it will give us a value. Okay. All right, so in order to do this, what we need to do is actually recall the order of operations. Okay, so you guys probably remember BEDMAS. Hopefully you do. Okay, so BEDMAS stands for brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, or add, and subtraction, or subtract. Okay, so if we were to work out a number or a value, you would follow the this order of operations. All right, and the acronym here is BEDMAS in this order. Okay. Now the thing with equations and we're solving for it is actually you're going to do the BEDMAS backwards because we're isolating variable. All right. So what we want to do here first off is to look for any addition or subtraction. So this is actually our first step here. Look for any addition or subtraction on the side of the variable. All right. So notice here that you have the plus 11. So what I want to do here is I want to actually move the plus 11 to the other side. Now, you may have been taught that when you switch sides, you switch signs. All right, so that plus 11 becomes negative 11. And then so we have 8n equals, and 35 minus 11 is 24. Okay, so all I did there is move the positive 11 to the other side. When you move that, you switch the signs. Some of you guys may have been taught to balance both sides, right? So this would, if I subtract 11 from both sides, this would cancel, and then I'm left with 35 minus 11 is 24. All right, so either way, that's our first step. All right, so we want to take care of any addition or subtracting on the side of the variable, move it over to the other side. All right, so once we've done that, the next step here is to look at what we have left. So we have 8 times n equals 24. All right, so we want to do the opposite of multiplying, which is to divide. All right, so we're going to divide both sides by 8. And when that happens, this 8 will cancel with this 8. And we're left with n is equal to 24 divided by 3. Sorry, 24 divided by 8, which is 3. Okay, so this is our answer. Now with equations, and with any equation in general, you always have the ability to check your answers. All right, so even though this is not required, you can always check your answers, and you check it by plugging in the answer into the original equation. Okay, so the key thing here is, yes, the original equation. So I'm going to go back to this equation here that's written in ink. And I'm going to plug in the 3 and just check if the left side matches the right. Okay, so that's going to look like this here. So I'm going to have 8 times. And again, the answer they got, so for the n here, I'm going to plug in the 3. Oops. Yeah, just plug in the 3. Okay, so I'm plugging it into here. And then it's plus 11 equals 35. And what should happen is the left side here should match the right. So if I work this out, 8 times 3 is 24. So 24 plus 11 equals 35. Well, 24 plus 11 is 35. So we do get 35 equals 35, which means that, yes, we do have the correct answer. N is equal to 3. All right. Cool. All right, next example here. We have 6 equals x over 4 plus 2. All right, so in this case, again, I want to isolate the x, so I'm going to move the 2 to the other side. So that would be subtracting 2. Okay, so again, when I move things to the side, it's the opposite sign. So 6 minus 2 here is 4. So I have 4 equals x over 4. Okay, so whenever you have a fraction, it's the same as a division. All right, so the opposite of dividing here would be to actually multiply. The way I write it is I put the whole thing in brackets, and I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Okay, so what ends up happening here is this 4 will cancel with this 4, and therefore x is going to equal 4 times 4, which is 16. And there's my answer. All right, so again, the opposite of division is to multiply, so you're going to multiply both sides by 4 in this case. All right, and again, I can check my answer, which I'm going to do right now. So plugging it back into the original, so 6 equals, and my answer was 16. So I'm going to plug that in there for the sex. And all right, so 16 over 4 plus 2. All right, and let's just check if this works out. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 4 plus 2, 6 equals 6, and we're good. All right, so again, yeah, whenever you get an answer, you know, just plug it in for the x into the original and make sure the left side matches the right. Cool.